In today's video, we'll check out the Kamrui AMR5 mini gaming PC. We'll unbox it, perform some performance tests, and check out some games, including retro, virtual pinball, and PC gaming. I'm John, and welcome to Wagner's Tech Talk. I want to thank Kamrui for sending over their AMR5 mini gaming PC so we can take a look at it. This mini PC was packaged very well, and there are different options available. This particular model is gray, includes 16 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. Let's see what comes included with the Kamrui AMR mini gaming PC. First off, you get the mini PC itself, a note indicating the memory compatibility, and a user's guide that has very little information in it. It includes a rather short 3-foot HDMI cable and a 19-volt 65-watt power supply. I'll remove the protective plastic and we'll check out the specs. The CPU is an AMD Zen 3 Ryzen 7 5800U with 8 cores, 16 threads, and up to 4.4 GHz. It includes 16 GB of dual-channel DDR4 RAM. The GPU is integrated and is an AMD Radeon 8-core 2000 MHz with support for 4K at 60 Hz UHD. An internal 512 GB M.2 NVMe SSD. As for the operating system, it has Windows 11 Pro pre-installed. There are 3 performance modes, which we'll discuss further, and plenty of I/O, so feel free to pause here if you want to check it out. Opening the unit couldn't be easier. On one side, it's held together by magnets and provides access to the RAM and M.2 SSD. There is also an additional slot if you want to add 2 M.2 SSDs to the machine, which is a very nice touch. I'll now hook everything up and we'll check out the performance. Now we'll check out the performance of the Kamrui mini PC. Based on the link that I was provided for the product, it was recently out of stock and replaced with a model that now includes 32 gigabytes of RAM. This increase may improve the performance, and at the time of this recording, there is a $100 off coupon code if you click the checkbox. Kamrui did mention providing a special coupon code for additional savings. If that occurs, I'll include that in the video description below as well. At this point, the price would be $459 plus taxes. Be sure to watch this video fully to see if this PC meets your expectations before considering it. It may seem a little gimmicky, but I do like the LEDs that come on when you power on the PC. In fact, the overall design of the case is very well thought out. To make everything easier to see, we'll transition the video over to the capture device. Here we have CPU-Z loaded so you can see some of the additional details. Feel free to pause if you want to take a closer look. I'll select some of the more interesting tabs to provide you with a bit more information on what CPU-Z is reporting. We'll now go to the bench CPU option with the PC set for silent or eco mode and check out the TDP in the lower right. In silent mode, it will draw up to 10 watts. Switching over to auto mode will draw around 10 to 15 watts. And in performance mode, 20 to 25 watts with a boost up to 30 can be expected, and the fans will begin to get a little louder. Keep in mind, all tests from here on out will be performed in performance mode. We'll now run a CPU test with Geekbench 6. The single core score is 1908 and 7309 for the multi-core score. I'll quickly scroll down so you can see the details. Again, pause if there is any specific result that you're interested in. Next, we'll perform a GPU test, also with Geekbench 6. The score is 14,612. And again, I'll quickly scroll through the details. Using Cinebench R23, we'll run a multi-core CPU test. That test ranked pretty well at 9,244. Now we'll run a CPU single core test, and those results came in at 1,389. Now we'll take a look at what to expect from the Kamrui mini PC while gaming. One of the first gaming tests I wanted to try with this mini PC was to test it with the Legends Pinball HD. I used a USB-C dock to provide the external HDMI output for the VIBS board, then set the mini PC for performance mode, and the internal HDMI connected to the playfield. Then of course connected the OTG cable to the ALP. For this test I installed Pinball FX, and here are the settings that were used. It provided the optimal OTG response times at a cost of low quality visuals on the playfield. From a distance it looks okay, but as you get closer to the playfield, it's obvious that it doesn't look that great. You may be able to improve the quality somewhat, but I can't recommend this PC exclusively for OTG use with the ALP HD. However, playing Pinball FX in landscape or desktop orientation was an okay experience and averaged around 40 FPS. Still not ideal, but it was playable. For retro gaming within Windows, I used RetroBat. If you'd like a full setup guide for that, I'll place a link in the upper right. God of War 2 on the PS2 played pretty well. There were times where there was a lot going on and the frame rate would dip a bit, so it's certainly not perfect on this machine, but overall it played pretty good. For the Switch, Nickelodeon Kart Racers was a great experience and maintained a steady 60 FPS throughout the game. I was pretty impressed by that, and yeah, it did very well with this game. In the next test, I wanted to use the mini PC with the Legends Ultimate. This provides an excellent option as it allows you to play arcade games and higher-end games using the arcade controls. I booted Batocera from the USB stick that we created in the guide and video above, then connected the HDMI cable and Bluetooth over to the Legends Ultimate arcade control panel. This PC turned out to be a great option for use on the Legends Ultimate with Batocera. While retro gaming is more of my kind of thing, modern titles are just as important when considering a new PC, if gaming is your intended use case. I started with a few games from my Steam library that are less demanding from a GPU standpoint. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge resulted in a consistent 60 FPS, not at all unexpected. Similarly, Pac-Man Championship Edition DX Plus performed superbly at a steady 60 FPS. For Star Wars Jedi: The Fallen Order, with the graphics quality set to medium, the visuals looked acceptable and resulted in an FPS typically around 40, a little bit higher, sometimes a little bit lower. The game played okay. Performance could be improved by dropping the graphics quality to low settings. Overall, the graphical performance of this machine is what I would consider a low to mid-range gaming machine. Starfield, a recent Bethesda title with all the settings set to low and the most recent graphics drivers installed, did not perform that great. You will need to update the graphics drivers for the game to even run. In enclosed areas, 30 FPS was fairly common. However, in more open areas, the FPS would often dip below 20. I wouldn't say the game is unplayable, just that it wouldn't be an ideal experience. That brings us to the end of another video. Overall, this is a decent low to mid-range gaming PC. Some of the higher end titles are going to struggle and result in lower frame rates, even at low settings. However, it is a decent machine for retro gaming and those games that don't require a powerful GPU. For other tasks such as browsing the internet, office documents, email, it will perform quite well, also making it a nice machine for the kids or game room. I hope you found the information in this video helpful. If you did, please click the like button. If you haven't already subscribed and want to see more content like this in the future, I hope you'll consider doing so. And with that, I look forward to talking with you again very soon.